minor change in plans. Christian will be going later, and right now, teacher David Clark IV is up, and he will be sharing with us his amazing teaching skills.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I thought that I would first, okay.
No, but we're recording it for posterity. They can hear the recording hand.
I thought I would start off by saying thank you. I learned a lot from all of your presentations, and the first thing I want to do is make you jealous of where I live. Okay? So this is our life in Punghu. Eleanor has become like a sister to us. We hang out all the time. This is the last picture we had with Michael. Some of you didn't come to the memorial last night, but this was the weekend before he passed away. We had a great time. We miss Michael, and we wish we could have spent more time with him. Yeah. This is me and Spencer. I tried windsurfing for the first time, and then this happened to me. You wanted this picture, okay? So I sprained my wrist the first time windsurfing, but it was a great time. We have a kayak and we go boating often when the weather is nice. This is my house. This is my house, and this is the land that we've been farming.
Is that your farm?
Right now it's clear, but we're working on that now. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. That's for sure. Yeah. Okay. This is just some beautiful pictures of. This is from my house, looking out over the.
Did you take all these pictures yourself?
Yes.
Even that?
Yeah. And this is the city I live in. I don't live in a city. I live in a village, an old Taiwanese village. So around my house are just ruins and 100-year-old buildings, and everything is falling apart. I have no neighbors. Play music as loud as I want, make music as loud as I want, run around. My son can do whatever he wants anytime. There's a place in Punghu where the water, when the tide goes down, a path opens and you can walk to another. Yeah, you can walk to another island.
Just like the Red Sea.
Yeah, they call it the Moses' Red Sea. This is the beach you go surfing at. This is the beach we go kayaking at. This is where the fishermen stay.
Oh, this is you.
This is where we go swimming. Okay, now to the learning part. Okay. Yeah. One thing I really wanted to show the students when I first started is someone who went from not being able to speak English to being able to speak English. And one of the people they know is Yao Ming. He's a basketball player. They love basketball in my class. So I gave them the quote that he said. He said, if you're going to learn a new language, you can't try to be perfect. You'll stop yourself from talking. You just have to let go. And most of them didn't understand what I was saying. So I asked my teacher to please translate it. I have them read it in English and Chinese, and then they understand. This is my school, Wenao. We rent our roof to the solar company. We try to be as energy efficient as possible. These are my students. Can anybody find the troubled student in my class? Everyone's having fun, and he doesn't have fun. But these are some of my third grade students. We love having fun. Anytime they're doing something, if they're playing basketball, dodgeball, baseball, something like that, I'm trying to go engage with them in that activity. And this day we were playing dodgeball. And this is my teaching team. I didn't have a picture with all of them, but they had a picture with all of them, so I just photoshopped. This is our English teacher, Iris. This is our TDIE, Zach. This is my wife and son. This is Eleanor. This is our English teacher, Brandon, and English teacher, Iris. This is our coaching team. So when I first got there, I asked them the question that a lot of you asked. I said, what do you want? And I did it in the way that that guy in the notebook did. I was like, what do you want? What do you want? And they kept saying the same thing, do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Because it's not beneficial to the kids to have no structure. So I said, what do you want? So me and one of the English teachers decided that I'll take their book that they have and I'll try to recreate what we would actually say, like use the words they're learning and the sentence patterns, and then change it to what we would actually use it to, talk about. So these are teaching some of the teaching activities. In the beginning I came from a preschool background before I came to elementary, and we always did something called circle time. So at the beginning of class, I always do like something like this. We'll do like, how are you doing? Because when I first got here to my other school and this school, when I got to class, I said, how are you doing to 30 kids, and every single one said, I'm fine. And nobody said, how are you, or how about you? So we go over different ways to answer the question, how are you doing? And I give them, how about you? Because they don't have conversation. In the book, there's no conversation. It just says, how are you? I'm fine. What's your name? I'm David. And that's where it stops. So I always try to get them to have conversation. So in the beginning of my circle time, I'll start with one student and I'll say, how are you doing? And then that student says, I'm good. And then he turns to the next student and they have to talk to each other around the class. Yeah. And then next we go over the months. And we go over the calendar, we go over the date. I said today is, what's the date today? They said today is day of the week, given the structure. Then I'll start asking the past tense, what was the date yesterday? Or what will the date be tomorrow? And then sometimes if they deeper into the semester, I'll say, what will the date be in 7 days? Or what will the date be? And try to give them the past, present, and future. Then I'll do a little bit of phonics. And someone said earlier they don't connect the phonics to the reading. I'll do something like this, which I borrowed from a teacher I learned in two-way. We'll go over the short vowels. We'll go over this phonics T. We'll make we'll make the words. We'll go over all of these separately, and then I'll make a sentence or a paragraph with the words, and they can use it to combine. Then, this is the activity I did in the book, it's like, how's the weather? The weather is sunny. I've never used that in my life. I've never seen somebody use that in my life. So I asked the teacher, how about they learn about different continents, countries, and the weather in different places. So I made this, I made like 7 of these, and they had to get in different groups. A different continent for each group in 3 different cities. They have to find the continent, the country, and the capital. And then they have to find the weather that week, the highs and lows. And we went to the computer labs for this, or I brought tablets to the class. So we used technology, and they had to use Google or Yahoo Weather or something like that. Then at the end, we asked them, how's the weather in Addis Ababa? And they have to say the weather. They go in their groups. On Wednesday, the weather will be, the high will be this, the low will be this. And then they go down the line. And this is them doing that. Then anytime it's something simple in my class that the teacher is teaching, I try to make a board game for the students so they can practice before their tests. So she's like, oh, they're gonna learn what's wrong this week. So I said, okay, give me the vocabulary that they're learning. I add some more in, and then I'll make a board game. And they can play this. I separate them into groups. While they're playing the game, I go around to each group and make sure they're saying the correct words, they're pronouncing it the right way, and they're understanding the game. They really love these games. If anybody wants a template, I can give them the template, and we just put whatever you want inside of it. Because it's really useful, because they have to say the sentence that they're learning and all the vocabulary that they are learning as well. And then this is, I gave them a little card that if they forgot the words, they can use this to practice. In 3rd grade, my 3rd grade classes are like 30 each. My only difficulty in my school is my 3rd grade classes. There's 30 kids. If I try to do anything, it gets so rowdy so fast. So I've started to just do something they can do at their desk. So I've been doing a lot of arts and crafts where they can just focus and not, cause too much trouble. So this one they were learning in their Taiwan English class. They were learning colors and shapes. So we decided to combine those to make faces. They can practice their motor skills with the scissors and the glue and things like that. So that's what we're doing with them. Snack exploration, showing them some snacks that we love. This one was for Halloween. We decided to make marshmallows, and we made little candy apple marshmallow things. Eleanor is having a great time. This is them. We teach them to wash their hands before you're going to cook, things like that. This is Christmas. We made cookies and they decorated the cookies. Okay, now on to English Village. In English Village, previously I taught with Spencer and I taught with Ainsley. And one thing, we had all of the, in our school we have all of the same things that we had in Donald. So in the beginning, when we first start, we go over, at my school, a new school comes every other week but we only see them one time. So they don't know who we are, so before we start, we go over introductions, they ask us questions, what's your name, how old are you, what's your favorite color, things like that, just so we can break the ice. Then we give them a folder that has money, a passport, and a health card. Because we want them to, I wanted them to have an experience that, like before they only went to 2 classes, and we have like 6 or 7. And I wanted them to go on a trip, like they would really go somewhere. So we give them the passport, and we have a big map on the wall. And the first thing they have to do is buy an airplane ticket. And we say, where do you want to go? And they have to learn how to say, I want to go to Paris or somewhere. We give them, go look at the map and find out where do you want to go. They buy a ticket to that place, they have to pay money, and they're like, oh man, the money goes down half. You know, so they're learning finance as well. Then they go to airport check-in, we go through that. They go on the airplane. And one thing you guys talked about earlier, they don't know how to ask. They say, I want this. So I teach, what would you like? And I teach them, may I have this please? Or may I have that please? Then in our English Village, they have a section that's just like Penghu information, like what's the beautiful things in Penghu. These are the salt columns, and this bird only comes in December, I think, in the winter. We have a water activity place, gift shop. I do a reading theater. We also have a library, so I do a reading theater where I do a story and I get them to come up and interact with me while we're doing the story time. This isn't the most fun time. After this, I'm exhausted. I'm just like pass out after the class because I'm just so tired. Sometimes Eleanor and I will combine the classes and we'll do some dancing. We have a restaurant that order food. This is our English Village. Then this semester, I did a cultural exchange project. Me and Eleanor did it together with a school in North Carolina where this student was, the school in North Carolina sent us videos first. And this particular student, he gave us information and asked questions about Taiwan. Then we sent videos back. And this was like, for me, it was four videos per class. And Eleanor did 4 videos per class too, so I was editing a lot of videos. So we sent them some videos back where they taught the students Chinese, or they taught the students, you know, I'm good at cup stacking, how we live in Taiwan, and the school in North Carolina did the same. They taught us about football, basketball, singing. There was just a plethora of things. I thought this was going to be more important for our students. It was actually more important for the other students. They called their parents crying, they called the principal, they're like, my student maybe will never get to go on a trip, and they felt like they traveled to Taiwan. They felt like they went on a trip. So I didn't know how important that was to do something like this. At our school, we also have to travel to neighboring schools. So this is one of my neighboring schools in Shiyu. It's about a 40-minute taxi ride every 2 weeks. I go there, they combine all the schools, and then I teach the classes. This is the school. So every Tuesday, I was very happy to go to the school. That's outside of the school. I do the same thing with them. I'll just use one of my lessons from my school and then try to change it for their level. It's a little bit lower because they're further out. Focusing on phonics and things like that. This was the last day. These are all the principals of the school. They present me with this beautiful Penghu that's the picture outside of the window. So I love going to this school. And that's all I got.
Wow, Teacher David, you have a blessed life.
I agree with you.
Wow.
Thank God every day.
Do you want to not go to your school next year so I can go take your farmhouse? Okay, I like your farmhouse.